Hey everyone, Magic Sword here. Today we're going to be discussing the 18.2 patch notes because holy crap, there's some good stuff going on here. First things first, this is part of the Forbidden Library timed event, right? So, the 8th, when the patch drops, is the first big part of the event. Then the 15th is the solo content, and the 23rd is a heroic Brawliseum, which is very high stakes, high rewards situation. Um, Looking forward to all of those. We can talk about those in more detail at the end. But for now, since the patch drops first out of those three things, let's talk about the patch. We have new feature Battlegrounds parties, something people have been asking for a long time. Um, Basically, you can have in a normal game, you can have up to 4 people in your party, right? Um, However, if you have more, you get put into your own little private lobby because, you know, 4 people are winners. Why would you want to play in a proper ranked game with with more than 4 people? You're guaranteeing someone in your friend group is going to lose, um, and therefore lose MMR. And it's probably unfair to the other people that you're playing with, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a tactical advantage it really provides to know your enemy. In I mean, I guess I know some people who are pretty bad who just kind of do meme builds. I might just queue up with them to increase my rating, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. More importantly, I think that the people have been really looking forward to this feature. Um, so I shouldn't say more importantly. I think this is a very cool feature, but um, the new heroes I think are going to be pretty influential here. Um, Friendly wager, Lord Barov. It's a 1 mana hero power. Guess which player will win their next combat. If they win, get 3 coins. So, this is not quite a 50-50 because ties don't count. And you need to really pay close attention to who's winning. But the expected value here is pretty high, right? Um, so, a few things to remember here. Money now is always worth more than money later in this game. And in life. But um, guess which hero will win. So exclude ties, right? If they win, get 3 coins. That 3 coins makes the expected value very high. If this were 2 coins, it would not be worth it like ever, because you have to invest one to gain one, and one later and there's a 50-50, right? It just doesn't work out. 3 coins, the expected value is higher. I would also say that this very likely has if you look on like the HS replay stats, I think you're going to see a very high disparity between the highest level of play and the lowest level of play with Lord Barov. I think he's going to be much, much better at a higher level of play because people will know what to look for to make him work. That said, I think because most people aren't at the highest level of play, 50% of players are below 6,500 rating. I am barely above that and only sometimes. Um, we'll see how this pans out. I think community opinion is going to be that it sucks, and that high level play opinion is that it's okay. I don't think he's going to be great because even at high level play, there's so much chance in the game that like doesn't really matter. Also, like your information on what other people are doing is actually fairly limited. So unless you just fought a person and you're like, wow, they were so good, and they're going up against someone that tiered up this term when they didn't, like that sort of logic. Um, I don't know. Well, I say it a lot, but we'll see. I've been aware of how much I say we'll see, but I just keep doing it anyway. I feel like it might be better to not draw attention to it, but we'll see. Jandice Barov. So you swap, lock, and shop it. Very good name. So swap a friendly non-golden minion with a random one in Bob's Tavern. Regis Kilbin asked, why does it specify non-golden? My thinking is that they don't want you to have the chance to, because usually when you have a golden, it's something you want to keep. I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes you get a golden deck swabby just by chance, right? And you probably want to ditch that anyway. But what the big thing here is that it gets rid of those battle cries, right? So when I was just like immediate community feedback, because this was like I saw videos on this before I saw the patch dropped, right? Like and I think that was just because they're big Hearthstone YouTubers. They probably have a little bit of an inside thing, right? But anyway, swap a friendly non. So the swap is kind of being overlooked here, is what I'm getting at, right? People are more concerned with, oh, so I get this guy, not, oh, I put my guy in the shop and I can activate its battle cry again. You know, if so, for example, and I don't think this is a viable strategy because it would be very difficult to do. Pogo Jandice Barov would be able to continuously trigger the same pogos. She'd cycle them. And of course, that's why the non-golden stipulation is there. Because of things like pogos, because of other powerful golden battle cries, you don't want to swap them in. On top of the fact that they don't want you to just like accidentally give away one of your most powerful minions. Like if you got rid of a golden gold grubber off of the Jandice Barov power, right? Like if you happened into a golden gold grubber, you would never use your hero power again if you didn't have that non-golden stipulation. So I think there are a lot of good design reasons to have that stipulation, and it's for the benefit of the player, but also so they can't do absolutely broken strategies. Anyway, one of the big things that people were looking for is like, all right, I can circumnavigate these negative battle cries, like the 3 that exist in Battlegrounds, right? Or you can otherwise you can get rid of a token in favor of something powerful, right? And those are all excellent points. So her turn 1, if she gets a token, is much stronger. So, already if you get a token on turn 1, you're in a great position. But her turn 1 token play is even stronger. It's on par with Malygos and even old Hook Tusk, potentially. Not old Hook, because you don't even get to choose that it's a token. So, like, for example, if you get the Murloc, you trade the 2/1 in, potentially. But anyway. The important thing is it puts that thing back in the shop, and I think that's being overlooked, and I think that puts her from okay to good. A lot of people are saying she's kind of but again, I think they're overlooking the fact that you get to rebuy a guy that you already bought, because the fact of the matter is, if you bought that guy once, you probably want to buy him again, right? Like, what's the harm? Especially if it's a good battlecry minion, so you get to shuffle your like primal fins back into the shop instead of just selling them. Also, of note is that it's random, so maybe have a couple primal fins on the board. But counterpoint is that since it's non-goldens, if the rest of your board is golden, it's not random anymore. It's totally targeted. So and this is common in a Murloc build, which of course, why are you building Murlocs without Megasaur? But they're still okay. Anyway, sorry, a little tangent there. But let's say, for example, you're doing a Murloc build. Well, it's pretty easy to get other golden guys, right? So you have a bunch of goldens. Your main board that's been buffed the whole game is golden. And then you buy a primal fin, and then you swap, lock, and shop it, and then you buy that same primal fin again. And the biggest issue, I think, is that it's hard to get a golden brand. So every time you do that, it's a coin flip. Oh, do I get rid of my brand? Do I have to waste 3 gold buying brand back, or do I get my primal fin? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I think that people are underrating it, but I'm actually rethinking my position that it'll be like really good, but I think it'll be better than just okay. I think it'll probably be low tier 2. All right. And I think this will be variously like tier 4 or low tier 2 as well. Right. Forest Warden Omu. All right, after you upgrade Bob's Tavern, gain 2 gold. I guess this is why they got rid of Vosh, because they wanted to only have one person who got upgrades during when they upgraded there. I mean, Vosh was bad, so. Gain 2 gold this turn only. I like the flavor. I don't think that's very good, because I mean, I guess it. No, you know what? It enables early tier ups, because the problem with tiering up early is you limit your space to actually buy minions, right? So if you tier up on, so normal tier up is what, on 4, then on 7, and then 9, right? That's like the curve tier up, right? So you could theoretically tier up much earlier and not fall that far behind because you have a bonus 2 gold floating around. Um, so let's say, for sake of example, you tier up on, well, you can't tier up on 1, so tier up on 4, then you tier up, then you can sell a token and buy a guy on 2 as well, right? Um, which is something a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. So in that set, okay, so that's a slight advantage there, but the advantage gets bigger when you're able to tier up on 6. So let's say so if on 7 it costs 4, on 6 it would cost 5, so you have 3 gold. So you can tier up on 6 and buy a minion, which most people are buying 2 minions on 6, right? But you're not as far behind as you would be, and you get access to that tier a turn earlier, which means on 7 you get to buy 2 tier 3s potentially. And you can even reroll once to get better ones or to ensure that you get actual 3 drops, right? So, okay, I can jive with that. I think that this has potential. I don't know how valuable that early tier up actually is. I don't know how many like late game strategies are actually worth like advancing to the mid game. Frankly, I'm just not that good at Battlegrounds. I feel like my opinion isn't as valuable on Battlegrounds as it is on regular Hearthstone. But I think this has potential to be good. It's very different from things we've seen before, right? But I feel like maybe Vosh indicates that like getting that early tier or getting a tier up on someone else doesn't really matter that much because it just like transforms everything, right? I don't know. Well, let's get into something else now. Micro Mummy, hey, tier 1 mech, 1 attack, 2 health. At the end of your turn, it's the Micro Mummy text, guys. So, 1 star. It is so a little 1-star guy. 1/2 with Reborn. This is like just straight up better than Mecharoo, right? Like, am I wrong? I feel like this is just a better Mecharoo. Did they get rid of Mecharoo? No, I don't think so. Well, anyway, yeah, this is a good tier 1 unit. This is a strong. You're gonna pick it up if you see it, and and it's not up against like a Tidecaller or something. This is a good thing to just like pick up when you're still formulating your exact strategy. I don't think it makes it into late game mech builds. I think having it for a turn or two, getting that extra attack in the early game, is pretty valuable. So how often in the early game are you like, oh, if I had 1 more damage, it helps even out your trades potentially, right? So pretty good. I think this will have a bit of an impact on the early game. Not nothing huge though. So pack leader was a little strong. So now it's a 2/3 with that gives +2 attack. I thought when they bumped it down to tier 2, and they tend to oh there it is. Mecharoo's been removed. There we go. Sorry. Oh, I feel like maybe no, whatever. So a 3/3 for 2 is like normal-ish, I guess. But like with that huge effect, like give beasts +2 +3 attack, it was a little much. Making it a 2/3 and giving it +2 attack is more reasonable. Really nerfs its interaction with Rat Pack. That was the big one. So I don't know, probably a necessary change. I think I agree with that. Okay, now let's get into the standard nerfs. Yeah, wow. Secret Passage down to 4 cards from 5. Yeah, I mean, it was just consistently the highest performing rogue card. Like, in every rogue deck. Probably needed to take a hit. Rogue was dominating T1. I think this is the right answer. I think this probably did need to go down to 4 cards. And I've heard other people make this suggestion, so it's nothing new. It's still a 1 mana sprint. It's still really good. All right. Cabal Acolyte down to 4 health from 6. It still has that wicked strong spell burst effect. The curve play Cabal Acolyte is much weaker now because this is really easy to kill. Even with an aggro deck, right? Your guys trade into it pretty nicely. And now you're looking at maybe just 1 minion trading into this. Before you were guaranteeing at least 2, probably 3 if you're aggro. Now you're looking at pretty easily like 1 guy can hit this thing. The nice thing about the 2/6 was I feel like if I played a Spy Mistress and I had like the Ash Tongue Slayer in hand, getting exactly that 6 damage, they thought they were safe. They were not. So it doesn't change that interaction at all. But like generally, this is beneficial for everyone who hates Priest. Hi, how you doing? So I think this is a good idea. And we see a buff to Totem Goliath, which, if you recall, I said looked pretty weak. And this is more in line with what I would expect. Overload 1. So here's the thing about Overload. Here's my hot take on Overload, which I think is not really that hot at all. Overload is all about spending future mana for a stronger effect right now. Death Rattle is all about spending current mana for a stronger effect later. They're antithetical, right? So you're overpaying for a Death Rattle. So if I'm at a 5/5, like that's the reason 4 mana 7/7 was so good, right? Because you paid. It didn't matter that you were putting in Overload 2. It just mattered that you had a 4 mana 7/7, right? And so, what's my follow up? I don't fucking care. I have a 4 mana 7/7. I have a curve 7/7 in stats, right? This is Death Rattle summon all 4 basic totems, which is cool. Death Rattle disable my hero power, I guess. Like, no, sorry, that's mean. But the biggest issue people had was that it didn't. The Overload 2 was particularly limiting, because if you play this on curve, that means that the next turn you can't follow it up with another one or a Bloodlust, and those were the 2 big ones that people really wanted to do with this deck. Because, like, let's say they and giving a bonus attack is really nice too, because it makes it more of a threat, more worth killing. Then you get the 4 basic totems, and now, on 6 I can Bloodlust with a guaranteed 4 minions on board, right? In all likelihood. So this is a much needed improvement. I think it might actually even see play in some Totem Shaman. And this isn't going to break anything, because Shaman is just so bad right now. So bad. But I think this might be enough that it will see play in that deck, and I think it will make it stronger overall. So I want to see Shaman rise a little bit in the ranks here, maybe above Priest, because Priest isn't great right now either, but they decided to nerf it. Look, I'm not going to argue with a Priest nerf, but like, it seemed a little excessive. Alright. Another buff. Well, change. Archwitch Willow. Summon a random demon from your hand and deck. It changed down to a 5/5. It lost 2/2 in stats for a 1 mana reduction. But also 8 mana. Much more playable. 9 mana is consistently like the worst cost, because you're not as strong as a 10 drop, like objectively. And you can't be played with like anything else. So 8 mana 5/5. Much more flexible. Probably overall a buff to its power. Still won't see play in Standard, because this is clearly a big demon card, and name 1 big demon in Standard. There aren't any. So next up, Darkglare change. Hell yeah. I really liked Painlock in Standard. This change, probably a little bit of a problem for Painlock in Standard. Not a huge one. Those Darkglare turns, those huge Darkglare turns where you just absolutely pop off, were pretty impressive. But you still have some 0 mana damaging things. So, your Kael'thas into Darkglare just got a lot stronger as well, because it only costs 1. It also only refreshes 1. So, you can't, it's harder to go infinite. Like, it was so easy when it refreshed 2 to just, like, play a Flame Imp. Okay, I'll tap. Okay, that refreshed it. play a 1-drop, play a Flame Imp, now I'm back at max. You know, like, it just was way too easy to work with. The mana reduction, this is much more of a change than it is a nerf for Standard. Pretty objectively a nerf in Wild. Well, no, I'd say it's a nerf in Standard too, because you still did have those pop-off turns. They just weren't nearly as problematic. So, will I dust these cards? I'll definitely dust my Cabal Acolyte because it wasn't seeing play with me anyway. Secret Passage, I don't know. Like, if I nerf Darkglare and Secret Passage, all I'll be left with is Hunter, which, you know, it was already the top aggro archetype in, okay, so to be fair, they were all kind of taking turns. The issue with Painlock, actually, is that it just gets bodied by aggro Rogue and Hunter. So, because it's like, yes, let me do your job for you and hurt myself. So, that was an issue. But, Painlock and aggro Rogue are both getting nerfed here. Aggro Hunter, totally untouched. Probably going to have to go check that out now. So, that's my recommendation. I'm going to dust these just for now. I'm not going to spend the dust because I'll probably come back to them when it settles and I can see how they are. However, I will. I would expect them to get slightly weaker. I wouldn't expect them to drop from tier 2, certainly. Anyway, game improvements and miscellaneous updates. Newly created decks will now automatically appear at the top of your deck collection. Okay, that's much needed. I appreciate that a lot. kael'thas login reward will now be granted if you own a pack from Ashes of Outland and go to the open packs menu. Okay, makes sense. Transfer student will now have the appropriate board effect when discovered or transformed. Was that a problem? Would it just say, like, generically, I don't know. I feel like, no, I have a video where I got a transfer student on the Ogrimmar board, and it gave me lethal, like, from devolving missiles. So, I guess sometimes it didn't work. I guess just in that case it did. I don't know. Anyway. Galakrond will now be correctly upgraded with when invoked while using Secret Passage. Yeah, so, Secret Passage is, like, one of the buggiest cards. So I'm not surprised that this is happening. Kingsbane drawn by Secret Passage will no longer be returned to your deck if played and then returned to hand via Doomerang. Oh, it didn't, like, lose the... What I think happens here is, Secret Passage, like, puts, like, an invisible buff on things. So, you know, if you returned the weapon... I can see the weapons in particular retaining buffs differently than minions. Anyway, actually, minions don't retain buffs when bounced to hand, so that's probably why they never had that problem. Anyway, copies of cards drawn by Secret Passage will no longer be returned to your deck at the end of turn. Copies of... Oh, okay. Yeah, because... Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It must have been an invisible buff, and then when you copy the card, it retained that invisible hand buff. Right. Same with Kingsbane. Retained that... Because it's a weapon, it retains it differently than minions, right? Copying a silence minion with Faceless Manipulator will no longer temporarily activate card text effects that buff other minions. Okay, so I can see this being an issue, like, let's say you copy a Stormwind champion, and something is below max health. So it'll temporarily go from, let's say you have a 6/6, goes from 4 to 5. It would stay at 5 after the silence took place. So that could be an issue. That would be a huge issue. Dormant minions created by Shadow Reflection no longer disappear if you change your hero after playing them. Alright, that one I'm not going to try to explain. Fix a visual issue with devolving missiles when transforming a target into a dormant minion. I think I've seen that. Crash when Knight and Karazhan encounter when playing kael'thas. Okay, yeah. Sorry if you're playing Sorry if you bought the kael'thas hero but are still playing One Knight and Karazhan in 2020. I mean, it's kind of an unanticipated issue. Visual bug where spellburst icons would disappear. Yeah, that was a huge pain. Oh my god. Headmaster kael'thas spellburst will now resurrect minions that are destroyed by spells that swap attack and health, and spells that have been granted poisonous by Slate. Wait, he didn't do that before? Oh my god. Oh my god, that's a huge problem. Summoning a cat. I guess... I guess maybe the slate effect resolved after the kael'thas effect. That's possible. Yeah. So, oh, I bet it. I bet it goes cast the spell. Then it's the after the spell is cast phase. If you played kael'thas first, he would activate because spell burst is after the spell triggers or after the spell is activated, and then slate would activate if you played it kael'thas slate. If you played it slate kael'thas, it might work based on my thinking here, but there's no. Well, I guess we could still test it because the patch isn't live. But anyway, summoning a cat will no longer allow Headmaster kael'thas spell burst to trigger on the opponent's turn. Yeah, this happened during the Grand Masters, right? Like, or some big tournament recently. Oh my god, dude, that was absolutely ridiculous. And this was like a pretty prevalent glitch. Like it happened. It was highlighted in several large YouTuber slash streamers videos recently. So glad they patched that one out. Mana Feeder Pantera's Battle Cry will now properly trigger after using your hero power and then invoking Galakron or switching to a different hero power. So, what I'm guessing happens here is that Pantera would just check if your current hero power was like flipped over, and now they're checking to see if you used it all in your turn. Okay. Fixed a card text display issue with Master's Scheme, Hatred Reactor, and Evil Promotion. No idea what that text display issue was. When refilling an existing mana crystal below 10 mana, you now receive a temporary mana crystal instead. This fixes an interaction where Forest Warden Omu would not grant the correct amount of mana. When refilling an existing mana crystal below 10 mana. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with how Omu works, and I don't think I've ever seen this. You never see it. Huh. Maybe he would, like, overflow you. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you would get too much mana back. I don't know. I was initially imagining that this is, like, he doesn't give you enough, but maybe he gives you too much. I'm slowly going just from fuck priest to also fuck druid, so I'm surprised I didn't know this happened. I'll look into it anyway. Book of Heroes. There's so we'll just skip Book of Heroes for now because we can scroll down to the. Actually, no. Let's do the Forbidden Library announcement. So, right here we go. Look at this stuff. Look at all this cool stuff they're giving us. Week 1, all the stuff we just talked about, the new changes, right? And a huge 56-pack recently rotated expansion Mega Wild bundle. I'm not going to buy it. You can if you really like Wild that much. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but like anything much more than $20 and it's probably not worth it. Wild packs like almost objectively aren't worth as much as standard packs. All new Hearthstone Book of Heroes earn a mage pack. So that's something we've done before, class specific packs. And the Scholar Jaina bundle is probably going to be worth like $10. 5 packs and a hero. I mean, I don't know, maybe do they think mage packs are worth more? Do you think they're worth more because it's like a class specific thing? I don't know. 10 to 15 I'm going to guess. And Heroic Brawliseum is back. The rewards on this are nutty. We're going to get into that. Absolutely nutty if you win big. Most people won't, so keep that in mind. Yep, we just discussed those changes, and let's talk about... Oh, this isn't much more detail. Okay, so after some light dusting, crack open the first installment of Hearthstone Book of Heroes to follow Jaina Prey... Sorry. Anyway, yeah, you're gonna see her journey to becoming a mighty mage. So this is awesome. I love these lore-rich solo adventures. This is absolutely amazing. Defeat all 8 bosses in this linear adventure to reward 1 mage pack containing only mage cards from standard. That's neat. I mean, 8 bosses, 1 pack. That's pretty reasonable. And we're going to get 10 of these over the next 12 months. Even though we kind of got like Illidan's origin story already. I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna do with him. Like, we already got how he went from a mage to a demon hunter, despite his incredible aptitude for druiding. So we'll see how that turns out. And then heroic Brawliseum. Yeah. So it costs $10 to enter. Holy crap. But also 1,000 gold. There's a gold option. But 1,000 gold. 1,000 gold. What? Okay. Okay, so use your cards from your collection with big rewards. Based on how successful your run is, you can win dust, gold, card backs, or even golden legendaries. But if you've lost 3 or 112. Right, so arena rules. They don't have the... God, I have to go back to the... Blizzard! Small indie company. Okay. Yeah. Here are the Brawliseum rewards. Look at this shit. So, if you win 0, hey, look, you get a pack for 1,000 gold. Good on you. Okay. So, I actually haven't looked into what the break-even point is here. If you're going to buy packs anyway, let's just value them at their full price, right? So, 500, and let's say dust is equal to gold. So, this is 5 wins is when you make money. 12 wins is when you go infinite. Just from a pure gold perspective, right? That's highly unimportant because you get golden legendaries. And I believe it's any golden legendary, not just a Scholomance golden legendary. So that's a little unfortunate because you could get ones from last year. And you could even get like a golden Lorewalker Cho because you probably don't have that right now, right? So, but you only need to get 5 wins. You need to, out of 7 games, you need to go 5-2, and then you can lose, and you can be happy with yourself. 5 wins isn't unobtainable, but 3 wins is average, right? You can expect, if you aren't bad, to win 3 wins. Hopefully they give us a freebie. But that would be a lot of stuff to just give away. I don't know. I feel like they have to give a freebie, right? And because they usually do, but I feel like the last time this the heroic Brawliseum came out, it wasn't free to enter the first time. I don't know. I don't remember. Whatever. I hope it is. It might not be. That's my full take. There's nothing really to dissect here. But if you go 10 wins, you get a golden legendary card. So, normally I would say I just play aggro because I'm dumb. And I like to ladder quickly. And the games take like 4 minutes, so it's worth it. This might be a time to actually play control. Not for me, because I'm bad at control. But control tends to have a higher... It's like bad for laddering because it takes forever to win. But you do actually have generally a slightly higher win rate. Depends on the meta, of course, but generally you have a slightly higher win rate. So, I would expect, especially after the Rogue and Warlock nerfs, I would expect a lot of Hunter, and then a lot of whatever control deck directly counters Hunter. So, and then maybe you tech in like a card for the mirror, right? That's what my meta prediction is for this Heroic Brawl. Because it's always just whatever the tier 1 decks are. I'm very excited about this, though. But, like look at these rewards for 50 packs for 12 wins. They are really letting you just make out here like a freaking bandit. And, like, the jump from 8 to 9 as well. Like, it's linear growth, and then, boom, 7 more packs, 90 more golden dust. And then you start getting golden legendaries. Like, I want to know the logic here. Like, alright, so, linear growth. Boom! Suddenly you get golden dust. And then, plus a pack, plus 70. And then, plus a pack, plus 30. Linear growth. Plus 90, plus 7 packs. Same, and then it stagnates. Plus a golden legendary. Then these increase. Plus a golden legendary. Then 50. Okay, so like using arena statistics, it's like 0.02% of people get 12 wins or something like that. So I totally get it. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna give like 5 people 50 packs. We can bite that bullet, because otherwise people are spending. A lot of people, I think, are gonna actually pay the money to get into this. It's like entering a tournament, right? If you frame it like that, it's much less horrifying, like existentially, like, oh my god, I just spent $10 on this card game. But like, I don't know. It's let's not ramble too long about monetization. I think this is probably look, anything's better than the Battlegrounds pass. I'm big mad about the Battlegrounds pass, just because I want to play with 4 heroes. I want to play the game like the way it's supposed to be played. But yeah, that is everything in these horrendously large patch notes. This huge 35-minute video. That is everything. If you want to see more 35-minute videos, make sure you subscribe. Talk about it in the comments below. Leave a like. Do everything. Hit the bell. Do people say that? I don't know. Have a good day.